morning sun is on my face, riding through this open space. Bellevue by my side, living life with arms spread wide. Chevy press on your screen, living large, chasing dreams. From adventures to the grind, finding joy in every find.
All right, welcome back. My name is Chevy Perez, and I'm going to be entering today the YouTube Chopped Challenge that is done by Life with Ron. In that Chopped Challenge, there are 3 main ingredients that you must use in this, and it is chicken, bell pepper, and coconut milk. So I'm going to try to make a unique dish with this, and I'm going to call this my slow-cooked coconut curry chicken meatballs. So let's take a look at what the ingredients are, and then we'll get started. All right, so with this recipe, I'm going to try to make a unique take on meatballs and a creamy coconut twist. It's going to be super easy. We're going to just set it and we're going to forget it. And it's going to have a balance of flavors, rich, slightly spicy, and a little bit subtly sweet. So for the ingredients, for the meatballs, we're going to take 1 pound of ground chicken with a half a cup of bread cups. We're going to use 1 egg, 1 small bell pepper, 2 cloves of garlic minced. We're going to take some ginger and we're going to grate that into it. We're going to use some soy sauce, some smoked paprika, and some ground cumin and salt and pepper. Then we're going to make the coconut sauce. We're going to use 1 can of the coconut milk, the other bell pepper, a small onion, the minced garlic again. We're going to then use some curry paste, some lime juice. We're going to add in a little bit of honey to balance it out a little bit, and again some salt and pepper. So those are the ingredients. Let's see what we can come up with. We'll start with the meatballs first, and let's go. All right, first we're going to start with the bell pepper. I'm going to cut it and then we're going to finely chop it. So I'm going to just start cutting it and then we'll be right back when we start chopping it.
He did wash it. Should like be talking like Julia Childs or something. So we have to finally shred this up for our food here. Come on, you can do it.
What?
Doing some Creole cookie. No, we're not.
What?
What's that guy on PBS? That looks pretty good and chopped right there.
Yep.
What's that going into them turkey meatballs?
Yep.
Okay, that's looking good.
All right, so now let's start with our 1 pound of ground chicken. So that's our first main ingredient that we have to have in this. And then we are going to add 1/2 cup of the breadcrumbs. So I've got my breadcrumbs here. Add in 1/2 cup of that. Then we're going to add in 1 egg. Then we're going to add in our small bell pepper. Then we're going to put in 2 cloves of garlic minced. So we're going to take this and put in basically 2 cloves of garlic into this. Then we're going to take 1 teaspoon of ginger, grated. So I've cut my ginger. We're going to grate that into here. Ginger smells really good. I think this will come together really nicely. It's smelling good. So we got that. And then we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. So we got the light soy sauce that we're going to try here. So we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of that. And then we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of the ground cumin and 1/2 teaspoon of the paprika also. Take these. I'm going to dry that off first for me. Thank you. And the paprika. All right, so and then we got to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. My assistant couldn't get it open, but that's right. All right, so now we got all the ingredients there, and then we just start mixing this all together, and then we'll be back once we get this all mixed and we'll start making our meatballs. All right, so now we got everything mixed. We're gonna take some of our meat here and we're gonna just make it into meatballs. So we'll try to keep them about 1 inch diameter, so we'll just roll them up and put them on here so that when we get ready, we'll put them into the crock pot. But I just need a place to put them first. So we'll just start doing these. Now we're making the sauce, so I'm going to start by just chopping up the bell peppers. So don't have to be anything fancy on chopping them up, just chop them up because they're just going to go into the sauce itself. And then we're going to chop up the onion the same way. So we'll continue chopping this up and we'll be right back to start putting everything together in our sauce. All right, so now we're gonna make our sauce. So I'm gonna start with the bell pepper and the onions. I'm just putting that into the slow cooker. And then to that, I'm gonna add 2 more cloves of garlic. And I'll have them wash that out. And then to that, we're going to add in 1 can of the coconut milk. So I've got the coconut milk. I've already opened it. So we're going to add in the can of that. Stir it up a little bit here. And then to that, we're going to put in, it says it calls for 1 tablespoon of red curry paste. I think I'm going to put a little bit more into that. So we'll probably put about 1.5 tablespoons in. So this is 1/2 tablespoon here. So we'll put in, it's 1/2. So that would be just about one. And then we'll put in maybe just another half. So that'll give us about a tablespoon and a half of the curry. Then we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of lime. So I'm just going to cut up a lime over here and put in some lime juice. Give me a paper towel too. Alright, so we've got the lime juice in. Now I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of honey. So I've got the good honey here, the Manuka honey that I'm going to be putting in. So we'll put in a tablespoon of that. Good health benefits there. So this will help balance out some of the flavors inside of here. Make sure I get all that in there. And then we're going to put in some salt and pepper, half a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And then we're going to stir that all together. And that's going to make our sauce. And then we'll be back in just a minute and we'll put the meatballs in. Alright, so the next step is we've got our sauce assembled. Now we're going to gently put each one of the meatballs into the sauce. So you just easily put each one in there. And while I'm doing that, keep an eye out on some videos coming up for me. I've got some posted of a recent trip that I just took that's out there. I've also got a video coming up soon about my weight loss journey update. So keep an eye out for that. So that's going to be coming up very soon. You can sort of see how I'm doing on that. And then we can just sort of see how everything's going with this. We're getting them all in there. I'll try to make sure that they all get covered here. I think this should be pretty good. We'll see. We're going to make some rice later on. So we'll, when we get ready to plate this up later tonight, we'll put this on some rice and see how that is. So stay tuned. So got that in there. So we'll be right back. So now we've got everything in there. So all we got to do is cover it up. And we're going to put this one on low for about 5 to 6 hours. So we'll see you in a few hours and we'll see how it's looking. All right, we're back. This has been cooking about 5.5 hours. So we're going to turn it off and we'll take a look at it. It smells amazing. So let's see what it looks like. So I made some jasmine rice. Well, Ron made. And now we're just going to try to take a couple of the meatballs here and put it on here and see what it looks like.
Looks good.
It
smells really good. Yeah.
Put a little bit of sauce on it. All right, here we go. Here's the final taste test. We'll see what it tastes like. So let's get a little bite here. One thing you could do is if you had some coconut, you could toast it. You could put that on top of it. That's one way you could do it. But we didn't do that with this. But let's take a taste test. It's really, really good. I think it's a hit. So if you ever want to try this, make sure you try it. And if you haven't joined the challenge yet, make sure you do that. You have a deadline of April the 1st, I believe. So TikTok, get out there. All right, see you later.
Bye, but it's not TikTok. It's YouTube. It's like, no. I know. It looks yummy, y'all. Try it.
sun is on my face, riding through this open space. Bellew by my side, living life with arms spread wide. Chevy press on your screen, living large, chasing dreams. From adventures to the grind, finding joy in every